Hey everyone, I'm Joanna Rochester, and this is Real Talk Soul Alchemy on Speak Up and Empower. Speak Up and Empower is an online community of heart-centered people that want to create more in their world, either as experts, as teachers, as guides, or those that have started on their journey of self-awareness and awakening. So we share with you the tools that you need, or share with you the tools that can help you on your journey, or we help you find your voice. So check out speakupandempower.com. But Real Talk Soul Alchemy. I'm Joanna Rochester. I am the Soul Alchemist. And Soul Alchemy is all about the journey of your soul to transform itself from letting go of the story of who you are that creates blocks, that creates those limits that are being placed on you that are preventing you from having that best life of being in alignment of what your soul wants. And when you come in alignment, you come into the flow of life and you start to enjoy life more and feel the beauty of life more and can create the world that you're searching for. And I think that's one thing that's 2021 is all about, is creating the world that you envision for yourself. And so how do you do that? Well, it is a journey, and it is something that can be a challenge because first of all, we have to, there's not first of all, there's so many pieces here, right? It's coming to understand what your story is. It's coming to understand what your purpose is. It's coming to understand of learning to love yourself. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, because this is really coming up a lot for me, but also for my clients and just in the people that I've been talking to is that understanding that what self-love is, right? If you can truly say, I love myself completely and without any boundaries or limits, or being able to see all aspects of yourself and love all aspects of yourself without judgment, then that's when your life can truly change. Because when you love yourself totally and completely, then you will love the world around you, and that will affect your relationships. It affects how you see yourself, what you see as possible. It affects what is open to you so that you can create the world that you're envisioning. Sorry, one second. We hear all the time about manifesting and creating the world that we envision for ourselves, and the world that we insist in right now is one that is based upon our actions of the past and our thoughts. So if you want to change that, then it's that first piece is to start to love yourself more. So how do you love yourself more? Well, once again, it's being an observer in your life. And when you're an observer in your life, you can start to look at yourself from an objective standpoint rather than a subjective, but an objective standpoint, and see yourself, first of all, how other people see you. Because so often how we talk about ourselves, how we think about ourselves, how we limit ourselves is based upon what other people have said about us, about what other people, how they talk about us, how they respond to us. And we judge ourselves based upon other people. So the more we can come into a place of being very much loving yourself, you will create greater confidence in life, higher self-esteem, because so often that lack of self-esteem and lack of confidence comes from a place of not loving yourself, not liking parts of yourself. So if you can come from reach a place of saying, I love me, I know I've done things in the past that I'm not happy with, I will change going forward. There's pieces of me that I'm still working on, because this journey is a lifelong journey. But the more you can move towards saying, I love me, the more then you can start to accept other people and accept their foibles, their idiosyncrasies, their issues, and not judge them for it, just be able to say, that's the way that they are. And it doesn't mean that you have to accept people in your life that are, let's be honest, that are dicks or treat you poorly. That's not what I'm saying. But what you can do is decide, people are this way? Is this something that I consider acceptable and someone that I want to have in my presence, in my daily life? And, decide whether or not you allow them in, decide whether or not you spend any time with them. And, if it's someone like a family or, someone who was, close friend in the past, sometimes we have to let people go, whether they've changed or whether you changed, whether or not, if you've changed, if you've grown in confidence, if you've grown in loving yourself more and you have stronger boundaries and you decide that, this is no longer acceptable behavior, then that's okay too. But that all comes from that strength of knowing that you deserve, that you are loved, that you are lovable, and that you are worthy of love and you deserve love because you are good enough. And so when you can come to those places and be able to allow that level of acceptance of self, of love of self that's unconditional, just like it is unconditional from God or source or whoever you consider to be the highest power in your life. When you can come to those places of just froze there. Hopefully it comes back. There we go. When you can come to that place, I remember Wayne Dyer and who was it that basically said, our purpose in life is to remember that we are God and that we are God-like, and God created us in its image, his or her image, and so we are God's. And that can be a challenge even right there to say, who am I, right? Coming from a Catholic upbringing, who am I to say I'm God? Well, God did say, in the words of the Bible, that he created us in his image. And so if he created us as, in his image, we are God-like. And so there's lots of pieces here of being able to let go of saying, well, that's arrogant or conceited, or who am I to say that? Well, it's not, if you can look at it subjectively or objectively and say, I am God and God is in me and I am in God, and come from a place of that deep self-love for self and that love of God, the universe, once again, whatever your higher power is, then that's when life becomes so amazing. But if you see yourself as God and then say, well, I'm better than anyone else, that's not what we're talking about here. This is not putting yourself as better than anyone else. This is just saying that you are equivalent to, you're equal to, and that everyone else on this planet is also equal to us and just as deserving of love. And, this comes up challenging if you think of someone who has really truly harmed you, or someone who has harmed someone else, right? But it's easy to say if you're not in this situation, but ideally, we can look at these people and say, they are gods also. They are God-like. They're experiencing something that's obviously very painful, because, if they've reached that point where they can kill someone, if it's then they've reached that point where they've had so much pain in their life that it's brought them to that point. And so if we can love them for the being that's inside of them, as opposed to the being that they've become, then we can accept them without judgment. Still, once again, it doesn't mean that we put them in our life. But all of this comes back to the fact that you love yourself and you love all aspects of yourself, and you allow those pieces of yourself that haven't been perhaps the best as you want to be. And so some of the tips or the tools, some ways of learning to love self, start with affirmations. Affirmations are a very easy way to start to change the way that you think. in the back of our minds, in our brains, we have this small area. It's kind of the old area of our brain, the reticular activating system. It doesn't mean much, but basically, if you can see it like a file cabinet, and that file cabinet contains all of your story, all those pieces of you, the way you described yourself, the way other people have described yourself, everything you've heard about yourself, everything you've done, and how you judge those things. All of that is stuck in a file cabinet. But that file cabinet can only hold so many files. So if you start to put in new thoughts, new positive ways of seeing yourself, then you can start to push out the old ways of seeing yourself. And that's the beauty of affirmations. They are positive ways of looking at yourself at the way you want to become, at what you'd like to be. And affirmations, ideally you say them 4 or 5, 6 times a day, have them written out, say them the same words. They're always positive. I've mentioned it many times before in my book, The Magnificence of Magenta, that, the I am statement is a very powerful, energetically statement. It actually will affect your being. It will affect your body's vibration. It will raise your vibration. To say, I am moving towards being the best version of myself. I am letting go of the old ways, old patterns. I am letting go of the way I see myself. I am letting go of how I see other people. I am moving towards releasing weight. I am moving towards having as much energy as I want to spend time with my kids. All of these together. And if you have 6, I think the first time I did them, I had up to 10 affirmations, and I just said them, 5, 6 times a day till I had them memorized, and until I reached the point where it was a challenge for me to say it's freezing all the time. They were back again, I think, yes. So it is, affirmations are an amazing way to reprogram the way you see yourself and your thoughts, because your thoughts become actions, which then become deeds. So you create your world. And I know it's really challenging to do. I've been in that place, right, where you're broke, especially right now with everything going on in the world, and challenged to have money, to worrying about where you're coming from next. But so it is a process, and it's something that you keep moving towards, but it's being that observer and realizing that, and focusing, oh my gosh, I think all the time about the fact that how am I going to make money? I need to make money. It's that law of attraction. If you keep thinking, I need to make money, you will keep needing to make money. And so if you can start thinking instead with an affirmation of, I love the fact that I see money coming into my bank account on a regular basis, or, however you want to word it. I am living a life of abundance, of health, wealth, and love. And, it can be that simple. If you want to get very specific about how much money you want to make, then you can, but not if it creates any doubt in your mind. So if you're thinking, right now, if you're making $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year, and you all of a sudden start thinking, I want to make $1 million a year. If you can think that without going, no way, that's not possible, I can't do it, then tone it back a bit or move the scale back a bit. So if you're at 30,000, you want to make 50,000 or 60,000, and you can believe that, then that affirmation will be successful, and your subconscious mind will start taking you where you need to go. So affirmations are a great tool. Being an observer is a great tool, because you start to notice what your thoughts are. And a lot of times we have really negative thoughts about ourselves. So if you can pay attention to those thoughts and at first just notice them, don't start and change them, but down the road, every time you catch yourself saying something negative or, that's very, put yourself down, then you can flip it around and say, no, that doesn't work for me anymore. I am moving towards having more money in my bank account. I am moving towards seeing a variety of inflows of income. whatever works for you, it's all these pieces that will start to get you to start thinking differently and start feeling differently. Money is a huge one because so often we have a lot of negative thoughts, or there's a lot of blocks about money, that we don't deserve, that we're not making enough, we should be working harder, that money is evil, especially in the healing world or in the natural healing world. A lot of people have a lot of issues, but money is just another energy. And if you can start moving it towards it, so if you have things to offer, if you have gifts to offer, if you have abilities to teach other people, to guide other people, to tell your story that helps influence other people, then that's how you bring back balance. You share your wisdom and knowledge, whether it's being a personal trainer or massage therapist, a Reiki specialist, whatever it is. You give people, you share with people your gifts, and they share back in the way that they can, with energy of money, or and with gratitude, and so many other things. So it is just an energy. And I know some people believe if you have gifts, you should be giving them away, but that doesn't come from a place of understanding how energy works, because energy is about balance. You give and you take and you receive and you give. And so that's how energy works, is that you give to the world and you receive back in one way or another, like another energy comes back to you. So coming to understand what your blocks are. If you've ever read the book Vision Boards or Future Boards, is that what it is? Future Boards. This is a great book. And it's all about vision boards, but it's the best part of it. It's actually not that, because there's just a lot of, it's pretty easy to read, but the best part of this book is that it gets out in the world about observing blocks, about gets you to understand whether you're a dreamer or a thinker. And then it's what are your blocks? Stop talking, changing your broke mindset, changing the I'm not worthy mindset, and changing the low-key martyr mindset. Sorry, I forget what this is exactly because I haven't read it in a while. But the low-key martyr mindset is it's an excuse as to why you can't be successful, or why you're not capable, of why you don't deserve. So vision boards, this book actually guides you through the process of dreaming. What can you dream of? If you, creating that world that you envision for yourself, how do you manifest it? And understanding how manifesting truly works and how it can change the world for you. So self-love. And this is another thing that's come up for me lately, because I've always been one to get the massages, to have a Reiki treatment. I have an amazing friend that owns a spa here in London, Ethos, a rejuvenation spa, and get facials from her. And so I'm good with that, but it's so much more than doing the outside the external things. It's doing those internal things that show yourself that you love them. So, working on yourself, that coming to accept, or coming to find out which parts of yourself you don't like, and coming to understand which parts of yourself you'd like to alter. And but it's also about just small basic things. I'm usually a bit rangy, I guess what my friends would say. I'm always like go, 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 go. Lots of things to do. So I'm always in a bit of a rush. That's something that I'm working on, trying to be more patient and getting into the flow more, because I know it's so much better for me. But there's also, like, even when I put moisturizer around my skin, it's like quickly as possible, get it on. But lately what I've been trying to do is, when I put it on, is to tell my skin how much I love my skin, tell my body how much I love my body, tell myself how much I love myself. And when you do just little things like that, first of all, it does slow you down. because you're focused on the moment, and you're being, in the moment, everything is perfect. So you can slow down. So in the moment, but you're also, creating that gratitude, that high vibration thought, emotion of gratitude, which changes your whole world and changes the world for people around you. So when you're grateful for this body that you live in, whether or not you like all aspects of it or not, just being grateful for what you have right now, even if you want to be healthier, have more energy, lose some weight, I don't know, change your hair, whatever it is, these pieces will come about when you bring that positive energy to the physical body. And that's done through those thoughts of gratitude. And so it is, and eating, there's another thing, right? So often when we eat, we do it without thought. We do it based upon how we've always eaten. And we also do it often coming from a place of, I don't really deserve to be healthier, or I'm not good enough, or, what does it matter? No one cares. So if you can flip those around and say instead, like, I love me and I deserve to be healthy. And if that's a stretch for you right now, then I am moving towards liking more of myself. And I am moving towards deserving to be happy and deserving to be healthy and I am moving towards deserving to have the energy that I want and to have the physical body that allows me to do what I want in this lifetime. So these pieces will start to come together when you can flip and change that mindset and come from a place of love for self as a place of judgment for yourself. That, oh my God, my skin's getting old, looks terrible. I got, all those things that we say to ourselves. And so this is where self-love will take you. And once again, when you've got that self-love, there's or comparing yourself to others. And there's no need for worrying about how people see you or other people's judgment, or worrying about your relationships with other people, or being competitive about relationships. Well, they can't like me if they like this person. All those pieces, right? Once again, that human story, that existence that we all have. But if we come from that place of love, of beauty within us, then things can truly change. And you go and stand in front of the fridge, and if you're inside of you is thinking, I don't deserve it, I'll just eat whatever. Instead, if you think, no, I do deserve to have the energy that I want, I'm going to grab the apple as opposed to the cold cuts and whatever, the leftovers or whatever. So these are all just pieces of the puzzle of self-love. And there's no question, like it's a journey, and sometimes it's a long journey. Getting help on your journey will move things along faster, because it's so much easier for someone else to be objective and say, where does that come from? Where is that? Is that an inner child that's telling you that? Because an inner child was told, when they were 4 or 5, that they were shy, or they were fat, or they were ugly. I don't know. All those things, right? So having someone work with you really does make it a smoother journey, but you can certainly do it yourself. Breath work. Once again, breath work is such an amazing tool just to slow yourself down. When you slow yourself down, and you've been caught in a moment where you've been irritated or triggered, or you realize that you're anxious about something, as soon as you can do that breath work and slow yourself down, then you can start asking the question, like, what is going on here? Where are these thoughts coming from? Are they just old patterns? Are they inner child? Is this something that I heard at some point in time and I just buried and I've never dealt with it? Is it what an old partner told me and I just always, I took it to heart and it's become my truth? And now that I'm becoming more aware, it's being brought to the surface for me to explore and understand that it's not really my truth, that it's there. piece. And, wherever that comes from, that, they threw their energy at you because they were insecure or they were jealous or they were anxious or, whatever it is. And we pick it up and take it on as our own, which, I'm sure you're like the majority, like me, where, so often if people are upset, we assume it's something we've done, as opposed to, the majority of the time, it's their own stuff. And they may be throwing it at you, but it's really their own stuff that they don't know how to deal with because they don't know what's going on in their journey, or they've been triggered or whatever it is. But, the more you can look objectively at people and say, well, he or she has just said something mean to me. First of all, where is it coming from on their end? Right? Are they hurt? Are they in pain? Is that why they're throwing this at me? Do they know that it would even be painful for me? Do they understand enough? Or are they so caught up in their own world that they don't get it? But then also, why is this bothering me? What about this piece of information is being triggered in me? Where am I being taken back to? What happened that this does bother me? Bother me still? Is there an emotion that was buried that I've just never dealt with, and it's stuck in my energy field? So all of these pieces are just, it's very challenging to be able to learn to love yourself overnight. But these pieces, I hope, will help you on your journey to move towards more self-love. Because once again, when you truly love yourself, anything is possible for you, and you can take on the world. You will have that abundance of health, wealth, and love, because you deserve better relationships. You deserve a better job. You deserve more, and anything is possible for you. So I'm Joanna Rogister, Soul Alchemist. I can be found at Joanna Rogister, Soul Alchemist on YouTube. And I'm just trying to change that so that you can see that. There you go. And this has been a part of Real Talk Soul Alchemy on Speak Up and Empower. And Speak Up and Empower, once again, is an online community providing people with the tools that they need to share their story, share their voice, and also to provide those that are searching for more with the knowledge and wisdom that's going to help them on their journey. SpeakUpandEmpower.com. We have conversations that change the way you see the world. And so join me again next Thursday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. I also have Joanna Rogister Wellness Renegade on Wednesdays at 10:30. That's all about the more natural aspects of healing and the more grounded aspects of healing. But Soul Alchemy is a journey of transformation of the soul from the person you are now to the person you hope to be, the soul that you truly are. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out and I will get back to you. Or if you have ideas for topics or you'd like to join me as a guest, I'd love to have you here. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.